Hello, I'm in the house. This is Len David Livesey. I'm going to do my checks and I'll be with you in a moment.
Do my checks and I'll
I'm
be
in the
with you in a
house.
moment.
Well, I would like to welcome everyone to our podcast today. I have a great show. This is something that a lot of people don't know about. Who am I? I'm Len David Livesey. I'm your full spectrum Gnostic, and I'm here every Tuesday and Wednesday. Today, we're talking something we're way in front of the news, something that a lot of people still not knowing about. This is our second time covering. First time we covered what was going on in India. And now we're going over the scary thing that is heading our way. We have a big dark cloud. I told you that I would be letting since I have some information about, some things that might be heading our way to keep you informed on the latest. So this is latest. It haven't even been covered much in the news or anything, but we're going over uh, the latest variant of coronavirus. And this variant is totally different from anything we have seen before. Okay. The Indian variant. First, there was the British variant. We had the South African variant. We had the Brazilian variant. We even had the California variant. But now we are facing the Indian variant. And the Indian variant, which they have confirmed is a variant, is totally different from all the other variants. India, when the world went to hell a year ago, India did very well, as we talked about before. But over the last month or two, India has totally went to hell. The hospitals behind me, everything is totally full. And there is a problem with this new variant. Okay. Because not only do people have uh, uh, COVID 19 that we've been dealing with for a while, and we know have a lot of experience on how to treat that. But it seems like COVID 19 has finally found someone to date, and maybe they have gotten married. COVID 19 has what is going on in India. It is closely related to a fungus, and this fungus was a very rare disease that had been around for a very long time, but it was always considered very rare. And now in India, no, it's not rare anymore. A lot of people are getting it, and this is very scary and extremely ugly. So, what is the name of this fungus? And what is the name of this fungus is muc- mucormycosis, which is a fungus. And this fungus, what is happening is that people get coronavirus, and then they're putting them on, steroids. They're putting them on antibiotics. They're giving them lots of oxygen and everything like this to help them get over the coronavirus. But then the mucus, this fungus come along, and this fungus is devastating everything. And this fungus is what is killing, is one of the main killers now. So we're going to talk about this fungus because it's known by its true name, but it's normally, since the name is so hard to pronounce and so difficult, a lot of people just call it black fungus. And this black fungus get on you, and this fungus will start to grow. And when this fungus start growing on you, this is really bad. Okay. Now, what they have found so far, they still and for let's talk about this fungus first and what this fungus is doing. Okay, the fungus is preying on people with diabetes and have so if you catch coronavirus and you have diabetes, uh, diabetes used to be called sugar, and the reason it was called sugar, maybe you get some homework to do. Because back in the good old days, before they had testing, one of the ways they knew you had diabetes, they would taste your urine. And if your urine was sweet, they knew you had diabetes, or what they call today sugar. What they used to call sugar, today they call it diabetes because your urine was sweet. And this fungus is what is feeding off of that sugar in your body. And then when you put a person on a respirator and give them oxygen, you actually is helping the fungus to grow, because normally the air we breathe is only 21% oxygen. But but the problem we're having, when a person can't breathe, we put them on pure oxygen. And this helps that fungus to grow super rapidly. And a lot of times when we see the fungus, it's kind of too late, because the fungus start forming in the throat, in the mouth, inside the nose, around the eyes. And what this fungus will do, you should look at some of the pictures on the internet. I can't even put them on the internet. The fungus will basically eat your face. There's pictures of people that have a big hole in their face, where their nose used to be, where their mouth used to be, where their tongue used to be, where their cheeks used to be. It's just totally will just eat you. And this is super bad and super scary. And normally with stuff like this, you throw antibiotics at it. Antibiotics does not do nothing to this fungus. The only thing that helps to get rid of this fungus, to control it, and to maybe cure people from it, is very strong antifungal medication. And this was the mistake they was making when this first appeared in India, because they thought it was, what we always do when you got an outbreak of something, we give people antibiotics. Antibiotics does not work against this fungus. Okay, so to treat people with, when they have coronavirus, they giving you a lot of, antiviral medication and a lot of things like that. But to work against the fungus, they have to do extremely strong fungal medication. And this is spreading. Okay. And the problem is, since it forms in your throat or in your mouth or in your nose, by the time they see it, it forms around the eyes. By the time it's visible, a lot of time it's already spreading uncontrollably under the skin. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And if you got fungus growing in your throat and they're trying to get that fungus and the fungus, and you can't breathe because, a lot of these people that on coronavirus, they need oxygen. And when you're trying to give you oxygen to breathe, the fungus just, it loves that. It just, so it is like a catch-22 situation. And they don't understand why this fungus and coronaviruses seem to be working hand in hand. But this is devastating a lot of people. And even the people that they cure from the fungus, if you got something that ate your nose or ate a part of your face or this or that or everything else, that's very hard to recover from. You might survive, but you are disformed for life. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And, and maybe in America, they can do $1 million surgeries and try to do plastic surgery, rebuild your face and rebuild this and that. But to the average person, that's just not happening. Okay. It's just not happening. And this is why they are very, very extremely nervous about what this fungus is doing, because they need to try to do something to get this under control. And this is already, and when you look, try to find out what is the numbers of what's going on in India, the government of India, just like the government of China, just like everybody, just like Trump, is downplaying the severity of this. They don't want to really talk about it. They don't really, the Indian government said they got everything under control, and you're not getting any good numbers out of it, And even in America, we're getting very little information on what is going on. People want to know how many cases there are in India and how this thing is spreading. And that is a very tight-lipped situation. Okay. So This is the problem we had with the movie before. When we had the problem before with coronavirus, you could not get any straight numbers out of anybody. And because of that, we don't know if this is contained or not contained. What they're trying to do to contain it, if you live in India, you ain't flying nowhere. You ain't, no country is accepting anybody from India these days. India is under lockdown. Okay. And they're afraid that if this gets out, and you already had some cases of this in Thailand, and and Cambodia, and one or two other places, but the severity of which we don't know. Okay. And our friend Fauci knows about this. He has mentioned this. He says that the vaccine works. If you have the Indian variant, that the vaccine works against the Indian variant. The problem with the South African variant and the Indian variant, the effectiveness falls down from like 90 something percent all the way down to 70 something percent. But you can still go after the coronavirus. But what about his friend? And this is what people are concerned about. Because this is like the 1-2 punch. Because we're getting geared up to fight viruses. And we're getting all these heavy antibiotics and this and that and everything else, but none of these antibiotics works against this virus. Will work against this fungus. You have to use antifungal medication, very, very strong antifungal medication. And there are some pictures that this is not only contained to the face. Most people in India is getting it on the face because they already have the fungus, and then they're putting the respirator over their face, and the respirator is helping the fungus to grow. So you can actually see where the respirator is where the outline of the fungus is. Okay. And the fungus is growing in their mouth and growing. Oh my gosh, it's some terrible pictures. Terrible. But this fungus is not only contained to the mouth area. It also outbreaks on the legs, because when your oxygen level of your body gets to be very, very low, some things are actually liking that situation. You get what I'm saying? And I guess that's what's happening when people, it's getting it on there, they're not quite sure if this is actually contagious, if this is spreading by contact, if this is spreading because fungus can spread by pores. Also, it can spread. This is very early, very, very early. We do not have a lot of good information. So then, why are we talking about this? Because my thing is that if this, just like I said a year ago about when they first was talking about this flu in China, I thought those smart SOBs in China had everything under control and they was going to solve the problem. Okay. India has some smart SOBs too. Okay. Maybe they can solve this problem. The world is going over there trying to figure out what is going on. Okay. This is the rush now that they're talking about booster. Before they were saying we might have a booster sometime next year, this and that. Now they're starting to push the booster way up the line. Okay. They're even talking about late fall, early winter. We might have to get a booster shot now because they can see that this cloud and several other smaller dark clouds are coming our way. But the biggest two variants that we're worried about now is the South African variant and this Indian variant. And this black fungus, this is just some scary stuff. Okay. So we really need to be on guard. We really need to see what is going on. As I said, right now, there's very, very, very little coverage of any kind on what is going on out there. And when you look on the websites about what is going on with coronavirus in India, they're only talking about the virus. They're mentioning how to protect yourself from this fungus. And that's what I showed about the thing. They're posting all over India how to look for the symptoms, because once it starts eating you, it's basically very hard to save. So they want people to know the beginning symptoms. And when this thing is, especially in your nasal tract and this and that, this is what causes the severe headaches, because this thing is growing inside it. And it's one or two cases. You even got where this had reached the person's brain, and the fungus is eating the. I don't even want a piece of this. This is too scary. Okay. And if this does reaches your brain, what you gonna do? See, this is very, very, very sad. Very, very, very worrisome. But we just need to be on guard, because this is the future, unfortunately, we all got to face. The future is that the world is a lot smaller than it used to be. And the days of having an outbreak somewhere and trying to contain it and trying to do this and trying to do that, it's very hard to do now. Okay. So we're going to have to learn to move a lot faster. Okay. And we're going to have to learn, when we identify something new and identify something that, was in one part of the world, before it can spread out of control, we're going to have to try to figure out what it is and try to figure out a weapon against it and attack it over there before it get a chance to come over here. And that is what they're trying to do now. But in India, it's just very hard to do anything, because in India, you can't really do containment. You have, people are like ants in India. There is no 6 feet. There is no 6 feet. Okay. You're lucky in India, you get 6 inches. Okay. Everything is like that. Okay. People live like this. They do everything like that. They get on the trains. Everything is like this. And the sanitary conditions in India is never been good. Okay. And this is the perfect breeding ground for something very ugly, very scary. So I would take India off your vacation plans anytime soon. But we need to figure this out. And we need to be on alert for this, because what happened with the last outbreak is that they told us it entered the country in very late March, early April. And we found out now that it probably entered in December, January. Okay. You see what I'm saying? It took that long before it got picked up on the radar. Okay. So, is there cases, and this is what happened with the British variant. By the time they was trying to figure out a solution to the British variant, you already had cases in the United States already. Okay. We are moving too slow. And we have to do what we got to do. And there's still some people out there that are saying they don't want to take the shot. They don't want to do this. I don't want to take the shot either. I don't want to take. But the problem is, with all this craziness going on, we really don't have a choice. Okay. We really, and some people believe that they're doing all of this on purpose and this and that and everything else and whatever. I get into the crazy sometimes. But what I view as the difference between a real catastrophe and a man-made catastrophe is, when you're looking at man-made catastrophes, they target certain groups of people, and and they leave certain groups of people alone. Coronavirus doesn't discriminate. Okay. The reason why some groups do better than others because some groups have better sources of health care than other groups. This is the reason why blacks wasn't doing good, especially in poor areas, because we didn't have the health care. We're not the type of people to say, I got a cough, I got this, let me go and get tested. We're not that type of person. Okay. I'm not that type of person. Okay. So it's going to really be something bad before I say maybe I need to go to the hospital. It's going to be really, really bad. And that's the problem that we have. That's the problem that a lot of poor people have and minorities have. We're not as trusting and we are not as doctor savvy as some people. Some people, their back hurt, they're going to the doctor. They this and that. They go to the doctor. They get a nosebleed, they run into the doctor. I'm not one of those people. I never have been. Okay. But we need to find a solution to this. And we need to stay on top of this situation. Because if this get in this country, Biden want everything reopened by the 4th of July. And we're heading there very, very, very quickly. Okay. And it's getting to the point where in a lot of places, you don't even have to wear your mask anymore, this and that and everything else. And a lot of places have reopened, the schools, the parks, the libraries, the this and that, the movie theaters, everything is getting back to normal. Trying to. And what we don't need is this big, giant, dark, black cloud. But if this gets to the United States, we are in big, big, big trouble. Okay. Because this thing feeds on people who have diabetes, feeds on people that are not in good health or have bad circulatory systems or this or that and everything else. And America is a very obese country. We have a lot of diabetes rate in America, super high. We have this would be party time over here. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. So we need to stay on top of this. Okay. I'm going to make a diversion for a minute and talk about the other news. They have announced today that, going, depending on what part of the country you're in, up to 40 to 50% of adults have now taken the vaccine. We're still trying to hit that 70% mark. And that will greatly reduce the severity of the problem. Hospitalizations in America is doing great. A lot of things are doing really good. But just like in the old movie, just like when you think it's safe to go back in the water, then you have another problem to pop up. So we need to enjoy our little vacation. We need to take this time to stretch, lay back, and say, we finally getting a break from that damn, all this lockdown and this and that. But we need to keep our ears up. We need to keep ourselves protected. We also need to keep our ears to the grindstone because we need to be aware before we have to go through everything again if something is going to try to destroy our peace and happiness and wreck. The world cannot use another giant financial hit like the coronavirus did. That costed the entire world trillions and trillions of dollars. Okay. And some people are doing good, but at the bottom of the index, things are just starting to pick them up now. And that's only because of a lot of government support, help, giving out stimulus checks, this, that, everything else. It has made a giant difference. And if it wasn't for all the checks and everything else, that the government really did, for once, step up to the plate. And I was very critical in the beginning, but I'm the government helped out a lot. Okay. Because normally, they're not always there the way they should be, but they pretty did a good job. And Biden is doing a great job of this. And even under Trump, he wasn't doing too well. But the center of, we still had the government was able to do Operation Warp Speed, and they was able to put those vaccines together. So we do have the know-how. We do have the knowledge. And unlike with the, when coronavirus first came out, we was very far behind the 8 ball. Very, very far. Okay. And our coronavirus test was one of the worst in the world. But our vaccines today, we have come from being at the back of the line to being in front of the line. And a lot of the world now want our vaccines because our vaccines seem to be doing a lot better and have a lot less side effects than the other vaccines that are around the world. We finally did something and did a decent job on it. Okay. So we still have some hesitancy. Some people believe that this, is just a scam for people to make, people are going to make money off everything. But we have to do what we have to do to survive. We have to be able to return back to normal society if we can. But we can't, we can't do that if we go from being afraid of someone coughing to being afraid of constantly checking your skin, your arms, your nasal tract, or your mouth to see if you don't have any black spots or anything. If that black fungus get out of India, it's going to be game over. It's going to be very bad. So what I'm going to try to do is to keep you up on the latest of what is going on, to keep you up on the latest of the latest news, with these variants. It just keeps changing and mutating. But we need to get up to 70%, 80%. And Israel is leading the world in the number of people that have been vaccinated. And, Europe is lagging behind us, but they're doing okay. But now we're starting to send vaccine and everything around the world. It's coming slowly. A lot of countries are complaining because it's a drip of what they're getting. But by the end of the year, going into next year, we're going to have most of the world is going to be covered. Okay. But it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a hell of a lot of money. Hell of a lot. Okay. But that's where we're going now. And we lost a lot of people. The death toll is sitting around 620, 1,000 people that died. And a lot of people, know people that actually passed away. But we need to have learned our lesson. And we need to have the whole world, because we don't want to go through this every few years or every 5 years or whatever. Okay. And we need to be, when anything break out, just like when Ebola hit or whatever, we viewed that, oh, that's an African problem, that they can fix it themselves, this and that. We can't do that anymore. We cannot. So we need, as a country, as an entire world, we need to figure out what's going on in India, what's up with this black fungus. And we need to be careful of that. Okay. But there's already been cases here. They will not say how many cases there have been. They will not say if they're related to coronavirus or not. But there has been cases of the fungus here. Okay. But they're very, 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 very extremely tight-lipped on what is going on. So, but I hopefully will be able on the 4th of July. That's what Biden wants, is to basically have this thing nailed down. And if we can keep this situation in India under control, hopefully things will be better. Excellent. So, with that, uh, this is going to be a short podcast today. Uh, you know, I just wanted to go over this information. I didn't want to stretch it all out, and I was getting some negative feedback. I guess Facebook and other people was worried that I was going to be talking crazy and whatever. I'm not talking crazy. Okay. So if you want to share this or whatever, uh, you know, uh, you might want to hurry up and do that. Okay. With this podcast here, because it might just disappear. But we are not talking crazy. I'm not talking conspiracy theory. I'm not talking anything. I'm only talking about what we need to do to stay healthy and what we need to move forward in life and move forward as the human race. And we need to help each other, and we need to keep, we've always had problems with diseases in this world. When you go back to the history books, there have always been outbreaks of disease. Okay. And the future is not going to be any different. The only difference is now we have the technology to do something about it. So I wish you enjoyed this podcast. And but as I said, you need to stay on track of what is going on. If you find out anything of what's going on with this black fungus or anything else, please let me know, because this is what this show is all about. I do this show on Tuesday, which is Encounters, but my main show is on Wednesdays, which is on the Spirit Room Network. And I look forward to seeing everyone next Tuesday and tomorrow. And I'm always trying to be there for you. And if you have anything, you need to get a hold of me. But I'm Lynn David Livesey, your full spectrum Gnostic. And we got to stay on top of everything going on. With that, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Bye.